All right. Welcome, everybody. Welcome to Ohana Online. My name is Devon. We have an hour-long yoga class today, yoga flow. So for today's practice, if you have yoga blocks, go ahead and grab them. We'll definitely want to use them for support. If you don't have any blocks, it's all right. You can use a tall water bottle or a surface, or we'll just make do when we get there. So today's class, we have kind of a hybrid of twisting postures and back bends. And so we'll be talking a lot about alignment, and the invitation is to just get kind of lost in this flow and sequence for your body. So very much a practice designed to help get you out of your head and into the moment. And so that's what we'll work on together. All right, let's get on our mats. We'll start on our backs today. So go ahead and recline. And you can just start with your knees bent. Knock your knees together and relax your arms down by your sides. You can settle your eyes. Take a few moments to shift your focus and shift your attention to this moment. So we rein in the mind and just start to be here more fully. Begin to breathe more deeply. And right away, just recognizing that our relationship to our breath throughout this practice is going to tell us a lot about our relationship to the present moment. So if we find ourselves forgetting the breath, if we find ourselves deciding that the breath isn't as important as getting deeper in a posture, then we just kindly realize that we're choosing to not live in the present moment. Okay, and so try to choose breath. Take a deep breath in through your nose and a full breath out through your mouth. Another time, take a big breath in through your belly and through your chest. Open mouth, exhale it out. And just another big breath on your own. You can keep the eyes soft or closed. Separate your knees. Bring your knees into your chest or your belly. And just start to rock a little bit left and right. Massage your low back down against the ground. You can take circles around your sacrum, whatever it is that presses out any tension in your back body. And guide your knees back to center. You'll keep your right knee in, send your left leg long on the floor, and just pause for a moment to squeeze your right knee around your rib cage. So instead of pulling it toward the center of your body, I just want you to take it like a semicircle towards the outer side of your body, and then squeeze your knee towards your armpit. Feel a gentle compression in your right hip crease, and flatten your shoulders down to the ground. So especially with a slower start, it can be really easy to make excuses and indulge in the mind, like what's coming after class, what happened before. So try in the slow start to really anchor your mind onto your mat. Move this into a twist. Carry your right knee to the left ledge of your mat. And so this is option number one, so you can stay with your knee bent. If it feels okay, go ahead and straighten your right leg on the floor. And you could just hold your calf muscle. You could even hold your hamstring to help that leg stay in place. And it's okay if the knee is slightly bent. If you can, reach down for the outer foot and just find a gentle kick through the sole of your right foot, through the heel. And so we're going to get into the IT bands quite a bit today, starting right here. I don't want you to force yourself into a ton of depth, considering this is just the start of class. Just think about waking up this part of your body. And just keep noticing what happens to the breath. we forget the breath, there's a really good chance that we've wandered elsewhere. Breathe in and breathe out. Come back to center gently. Keep your right hand on your left foot, and we'll take a supine half pigeon here. So you'll hold the knife edge of your right foot. Your knee is bent towards the right, so you basically have your half pigeon leg, but it's up in space over your body. Okay, so it's half pigeon flipped belly up. Gently flex your toes back towards your shin. Pull your heel, almost like you're trying to tuck it toward your left armpit. And at the same time, push your right knee gently away. Okay, flatten your right hip crease toward the floor and just do what you need to do to open into your outer right hip space and be really gentle so we're not pushing too much on the knee. Just gentle breaths into your outer hip. Okay, take another inhale and another exhale. Okay, release that knee. Take your foot down to the ground. Switch. So your right leg goes forward. Hug your left knee in around the side of your body. So we'll pause in that same compression that we took on the first side. Left knee to left armpit. Pull your shoulders down into the ground. And so we notice a broadening of the chest when we do that. And we want to keep that broadness. Take a deep breath in. Exhale into your supine twist. Carry your left knee over to the right. And you could stay here, especially if that last variation wasn't feeling great for you. If you want to move into some IT opening, kick through the sole of your foot. You can get the opening just by keeping your hand on your thigh, okay? If you want more, then you're reaching for your foot on the ground. I like to hold the top, or really whatever is accessible. And keep rotating your heart, your gaze up toward the ceiling. You start to feel this kind of intense opening up and down the outer left leg. The challenge for today's practice is how fully absorbed can you be in the postures and the breath and the qualities of each moment. Take another breath in. Stay and breathe out. You can come back to center now. We'll keep the leg bent, half pigeon, supine. So you're grabbing for the knife edge of your left foot, the pinky toe side. Bend your left leg so that it's in the half pigeon shape. Pull your heel not down, but slightly forward, okay? And that's where we get this external rotation of the left thigh bone, right? Your left knee presses forward, your left heel squeezes toward your right armpit, but it's really gentle. Okay? We're not pulling forcefully whatsoever because we really don't want that kind of pressure on the knee. We're either using this slow start and this stiller kind of stretch to continue indulging in whatever the mind has as front and center, or we're using this as an opportunity to get deeper into our body, deeper into our breath, which will yield a deeper practice. Okay, come back to center, release the left foot, draw your knees together into your chest, and just rock forward and back, only if it feels good. So for some of us, maybe this is too much, but if it feels good, you can take a couple rocks forward and back along the length of your spine. We're going to meet in a forward fold at the top of our mat, so however you want to get there is perfect with me. Maybe it's a more gentle transition today. Feet at the top of your space. Let's take them hip width distance, so there's some distance between your arches here. You're always welcome to put blocks underneath your hands to support your fold. Relax your belly toward your thighs. Tip your weight forward into your big toe mounds, and as you do that, I want you to imagine that your low back is actually getting longer.
Try to lift your pelvis up so your tailbone goes higher toward the sky, and you're trying to tip the bowl of your pelvis toward the floor more. Okay, so this is going to create length in the low back. That's a safer fold. Relax your neck. You can open and close your jaw. Think about your eyes getting heavy. And it's just we arrive in each posture and then we feel into it really deeply. How much of your body can you be aware of in each pose? Drop your hands down to the ground if they aren't there already. Your feet are underneath your hips. Take a halfway lift. Hands to shins or thighs or blocks, whatever feels best. Reach back through your pelvis and forward through your crown. Keep this length. Exhale, gentle forward fold, belly to thighs. Good. Strong core lifts you all the way up to standing. Urdhva Hastasana. Touch your palms overhead. Push down through your feet. Reach long through your fingertips. Take one deep breath in. As you exhale, vertical twist to the right. Reach your right arm back. Send your left arm forward. Don't worry so much about perfectly squaring your hips to the front of the room. I want you to just think about, I'll come a little bit closer so you can see, when you rotate into a twist, okay, what's going to happen naturally is the pelvis will move, okay? What happens sometimes is we come into this twist and then we force this hip forward, okay, and it's not a natural way for the pelvis to move. Okay, so just let your hips move however they want to in this twist. It's no big deal. Reach out through your fingertips so you're long across your wingspan. This is a little bit different. Take a deep breath in, stand tall through the crown of your head. Good. Stay here and breathe out. And with your belly hugged back, we'll take a little exalted variation. Reach your right hand down toward the floor and your left arm up to the ceiling. Okay, so it's like a little twisted back bend. Lift your rib cage up toward the sky. Reach down to your right fingertip. So you're still twisting, but you've added a little back bend. Curl your heart back. Take one more breath. As you exhale, bend your knees, keep the twist, and come all the way into a fold. Left hand down to a block or the floor. Right arm up to the ceiling. Now look at your legs, okay? Most likely your left knee is jutting out past the right one. That's fine. It's the same conversation of letting the hips move as they please in your twist. Now instead, focus on rotating the left side of your body off to the right side of the room. Pull your right shoulder closer to your spine, and then check on your breath. Take one more inhale, chest wide open. Awesome job, you guys. Exhale, forward fold, feet touch down. Inhale, halfway lift plus standing splits, left leg kicks back. You can absolutely grab your blocks here underneath your hands. It's pretty early for standing splits, but I want you to push your right foot down into the ground and at the same time wrap your right seat back just a little bit to get the glutes more involved and the stabilizers active. Take one breath in and stretch longer through your spine. As you exhale, it's Shiva squat. Bend your right knee. Tap your left knee to your right calf muscle and stay low. So we're in this little crouching position. If it feels good, you could round in. Okay, I kind of like to keep a longer spine here. Keep the weight in your right heel. Take one breath. Exhale, low lunge. Step your foot way back and settle down into your hips. Right away, inhale, Crescent Moon. Reach your arms up to the ceiling and pause. Okay, so arms come up, chest forward, shoulders back. Good, and just let the front of your body be really open now. So you feel an openness in the front of your left hip. Of course, the torso is opening forward, but I want you to complement that by hugging your ribs in and your low hip points together. Take one breath in, maybe look up if it feels good. Awesome. Exhale, hands down to the ground. Step back into a plank pose and lower down to your belly. Nice and slow. So we'll work a little bit of spine strengthening here. Hands underneath your shoulders, elbows stick up. Setting up for Cobra, drill your feet to the floor, lift your kneecaps, and sink your pubic bone into the ground. Now lift your heart up and pause. Notice how in Cobra, the front of your body wants to be more active than the back line, and we need to reverse that. Okay, so think about getting light in the front of your body, and everything in the back side wraps up to the ceiling. Okay, keep your feet pushing into the floor. Like a halfway lift, reach through the sides of your neck, reach through the crown of your head for one more breath. Exhale, mouth to the floor. Tuck your toes. Push back through your heels to lift your knees. Think about taking your navel off of the ground and then press up to plank or table, your call. Exhale as a downward facing dog. First time here, let's settle into it. Okay, look back at your feet. Widen your heels. Feel your inner thighs spin back. And then sitting bones higher to create more space for the low back. Upper body is active too. Okay, so we're not just sinking into the palms of the hands. Okay, we're actually distributing weight into the base knuckles of each finger and then hug the L's of your hands toward each other. Okay, so really active downward facing dog. Step your left foot in a few inches. On your next inhale, reach your right leg up and back. Keep the active hands. So you push your hands into the floor and get longer through the reach of your right leg. Bend your right knee in half and open your hips. So pause. Keep your hands active, guys. Push your hands into the floor. Just let your right shoulder do whatever it wants for a second and instead focus on engaging your belly. So I don't want you to just twist your spine into a shape and disengage. I want you to feel that the engagement of your core is what's facilitating the rotation of your right leg behind your body. Take one more breath. On your exhale, gentle step through low lunge position. Inhale, standing splits, launch forward, left leg high. Exhale, fold forward. Feet touch down. Take a halfway lift. Exhale, fold your body. Come all the way back up, Urdhva Hastasana. Stand tall, reach through your fingers, palms come to touch. Exhale, vertical twist to the left this time. So you'll notice that as you twist your torso, your left hip might slide back, and that's okay. Hold your twist. Feel like your left side oblique is activating to draw the left side of your body back behind you. At the same time, you're reaching forward through your right fingertips. Exhale everything out. Inhale, exalt. Left arm reaches to the floor, right arm up to the ceiling. And now it's just a little back bend. Keep your low spine long. Reach your heart up to the ceiling. Curl your shoulders back. Feel the twist as the left shoulder draws back, and the back bend as your breastbone lifts up higher. There's a curling back of your chest for one more breath. Exhale, bend your knees. Keep the twist. Fold forward. Right hand to the floor or your block. Keep your feet anchored. And the right knee, it's probably sliding forward. For today, let's just let that be. Let's let the sacrum and the pelvis just move as it was designed with the spine. Use the right side of your body to send your chest through. Give it one more breath in. Exhale, fold forward. Halfway lift and standing splits. Lift your right leg back. Fingertips can be on blocks or the floor, whatever feels most supportive. And then we don't have to go full blown right now. Just push through your heels. So a lot of times what I see is we're so worried about getting the right leg high that the right leg is really underutilized and we have this bend in it. Who cares if your leg is low, but make it engaged. Kick through the sole of the foot. Okay, flex your toes back toward your body and then start working on that lift. Next, exhale, Shiva squat. Bend your left knee, tap your left calf with your right knee, and stay low in the crouch. Squeeze your right knee forward. The legs are very active, and I want you to keep all of your weight positioned in your left heel. Spine can be long or curled, whatever your preference is. Take one more breath. Exhale, long step back, low lunge. Crescent Moon. Inhale, arms up to the ceiling, and just let the front of your body open up naturally. It's a good place to check on your breath. Slide your shoulders down. And take one more inhale to reach. Good. Exhale, hands down to the floor. Step back to plank and lower all the way down to your belly. Inhale, Cobra pose, and hold it. Remember, the front of your body is going to want to do the work. You'll want to push into your hands and push your belly down to lift higher. Soften a little bit there. Use the wrap of your elbows back, the reach back through your toes to keep this lifted sensation. And we'll give it one more breath.
Exhale, mouth to the floor. Tuck your toes and press your heels back. Okay, high plank or tabletop, your call. Exhale, downward facing dog.
Settle back into your heels. Use your downward facing dog to reintegrate yourself into breath, okay, and the moment. So it just happens that we take these little tangents mentally throughout the practice, and it's okay that that happens. But we have to foster our own discipline to keep our attention in the body and in the breath. Okay? So every time we catch ourselves wandering or in judgment or some kind of speculation, we just have to guide ourselves back to what we can be aware of right now. Okay? On your next inhale, right foot steps in a little bit, left leg high. Pause for a second, make it more active. Press through your palms. Now bend your knee in half and open your hips to the side of the room. Remember that we're not just opening the hips and getting lazy about it. Use the engagement of your side bodies to pull your left knee behind your body. Lift your left knee higher too. Take a deep breath in. Exhale, low lunge, step your foot between your thumbs. Inhale, standing splits, right away, right leg high. Exhale, fold forward, feet to touch or hip width distance. Take a halfway lift, lengthen through your spine. Exhale as a fold forward, let everything go. I'm changing it up right here. Inhale, chair pose. Sit down into your heels, okay? All of your weight is going back now. You guys know the drill, okay? Sit into your heels. Let your sitting bones reach back. And keep your heart open forward. So sometimes we sit so low because we think that's where we need to be that we lose the opening in the chest, okay? Not fun. So who cares if you're only sitting a little bit, at least you have the extension in your spine, okay? Take a deep breath in. Hands to your heart as you exhale, hinge forward. And now take your prayer twist. For this one, you can take your left elbow between your knees, or you can take it to your outer thigh if you feel ready for that. But let's not force the knees to be together. Same conversation we've already been having. You can let the knees stagger. Sit down into your heels. Lighten up the bind between your elbow and thigh and between your hands. Soften there and use the left side of your body to twist. We're going to get a lot of heat in the low body here, so just prepare yourself. Sit deeper into the heels. Breathe into all of the sensations that are showing up right now. And let this challenge bring you more fully here. Stay low. Come back to center. Hands stay at your heart. Inhale. I'm just changing so I can see you still. Exhale, twist over to the left. So your right elbow comes between the knees or to the outer thigh, whatever feels best. Let the right knee jut forward if that's natural. Sit into your heels. I know your legs are warm, but it's not going to last forever, so try to feel it more. Soften between the hands. Use the right side of your core to bring the twist. It's tough, I know. Take one more inhale. And exhale. You're going to stay low in your legs, okay? Come back, hands to heart. Reach your arms up to the ceiling. You're still low in your legs. Sit in your heels. Exhale, bind your hands at your low back. Interlace your fingers. Reach your fist back and your heart forward. Good. Now sit lower and take your chest slightly toward the top of your mat so you get even longer through your spine. Use your breath to weave underneath your collar, through your pec muscles. Huge inhales. One more. Good. Stay. Exhale. Inhale. Keep the bind. Stand up. Mountain pose with chest expansion. Keep the bind. Bend your knees. Exhale. Fold forward. Forward fold with chest expansion. Relax your head. Pull your shoulders out of your ear space. Take it one more breath. And exhale. Relax your hands down. Slide them to the floor. Take a halfway lift. Exhale. We can vinyasa here. Step back into plank, lower into chaturanga or cobra. Upward facing dog. Tops of your feet turn down. In your up dog, guys, let's keep the low back long. Exhale from your belly. Lift your hips. Downward facing dog. Inhale, right leg high. Exhale, low lunge. Step your foot forward. We'll find pyramid pose. If you have your blocks, grab them. Pyramid pose, shorten your stance a lot for this variation. Bring your back heel in until it lands on the floor. Really important that you have this connection between your left heel. So my stance is quite a bit shorter. Your left toes can point to the top left corner of your mat. Okay? Pyramid pose, keep the length in your spine. Now, if you don't have blocks, you can balance on your fingertips. Okay? You're gonna take your blocks or your hands over to the right side of your mat. I want you to turn on your feet. So all 10 toes are now facing the right side of your mat, and you're balancing on the knife edges of your feet. So your arches should be lifted up off of the floor, and then if you can, walk your hands forward and fold your torso. So we're in the IT band. If you haven't felt it yet, that's what we're doing. Okay, so upper body reaches towards your front thigh. Flex your toes back toward your shin. And you might have to play with this a little bit. Like, how can you get deeper into your outer right leg? This is a very different shape for the body to be in. So it's a lot of fun to just be aware of how new this might be. It's a new way to experience yourself. And take a halfway lift. All right, big turn all the way to the left side of your mat for Prasarita, wide-legged forward fold. Okay, I'm turning to face you. So you're in your wide fold, toes turn in, heels turn out. Hinge your upper body forward, keep your weight into the big toe mounds, just a few breaths in a wide fold. I want you to relax your spine. Try to get heavier through your rib cage. So imagine your low back getting nice and spacious here. Your pelvis is curling up to the sky for one more breath. Good, now halfway lift it. Keep the length, hover your fingertips, and come all the way up. Star pose. Okay, star pose, toes face the side of your mat, arms reach out. Warrior two, right toes turn open, bend into your right knee. Okay, so warrior two with the right knee bent. Take a few breaths to get into it. Check out your feet. So the front foot is forward. Your knee is reaching towards the pinky toe side of that foot, as you know. As you open the knee, I want you to lower your thigh. And then reach back through your left leg. And as we work to engage the legs, the hips will splay very naturally. So we don't have to orient this posture from the hip bones. Okay, we find it just by working with the thigh bones and external rotation. Reach out through your fingertips. On your next inhale, straighten your right leg. Keep a little micro bend in the right knee. Reach your fingertips forward. Trikonasana Triangle. Right hand comes down to maybe a block or your shin or the floor. Left arm up to the ceiling. Check on your feet. I like to even turn my left toes in slightly, but root through the outer edge of your back foot. Keep both of your knees soft. And now do what you can to slide this right hip crease back to create more space on the underside of the body. Check on your breathing. Notice if you've forgotten the breath. Have you forgotten to be present? Have you allowed your mind to wander? And it's really okay when that happens. Bring yourself back into full body awareness. Notice how much space you're taking up right here. Good. Bend into your right knee. Reverse warrior. From your side bodies, switch the orientation of your arms. Left arm reaches down, right arm up and out. Keep driving the right shin bone forward. You'll take one more breath. Good. Exhale, low lunge. Lift your back heel and pivot to the floor. Left hand stays, right arm high for a low lunge twist, and pause right here. Okay, so I really want you to feel into, I'm going to turn so I can still face you. Feel into how you can deepen this twist by moving the left side of your torso to the long side of your mat. So you're wrapping and sourcing the rotation from the underside. Good. And then let your right shoulder drape back. Feels really good. We'll take one more breath. As you exhale, come back to your low lunge position.
From lunge, you can set your back knee down. We're going to go for the quad stretch here. One way that you can get into it is to slide your hips back, lift your back foot off the ground, right hand comes back for the foot, and then you come back into your lunge, but you've added a quad stretch. Some of you might need to walk your right foot out wider and then reach back this way. Okay, so different options depending on where you're at. If your right foot is at the center of your mat and flat to the floor, it's going to be a little bit more of an intense quad opening. Do your best to keep your chest broad, so you're drawing your shoulders behind you, chin off of your chest. We'll give it one more breath in. Exhale, gently release your foot. Down dog kick, reach your right leg high. Bend your knee in half, open your hips up. So we'll open the hips to a little bit of a deeper degree. So listen here, don't jump the gun because we're not going as far as you might think. Right hip opens, let your left heel drop to the ground, kind of like side plank, but hold it there. Okay, so it's almost like halfway to wild thing. You can even let your right leg spill behind you a little bit more, and then either stay here and work on engaging your core to hold your spine in this shape, which we often don't, or if you feel like you can engage your core, balance and bring your right hand to your heart and do that. Hold for 3 breaths. So essentially we're strengthening all of the muscles that we need for a safe transition into wild thing, which may or may not be coming later. Take one more breath. And exhale, downward facing dog. Lift your left leg high. Exhale, low lunge, step your foot forward. Grab your blocks. I'm going to switch for visibility reasons. Pyramid pose, shorten your stance a lot. Okay, hold in your pyramid. So for me, the stance is a lot shorter, and this is to help me with the squaring of my hips and hamstring stretch, okay? When I'm back here, I have a hard time getting into the underside of my leg, so I step forward quite a bit. And now I feel like my hips are nice and level, my low back is long, and I can keep that length in my low spine as I fold a little bit deeper into the stretch. Does that make sense? If we're longer, look how curved my low back is. Stays curved here, not as safe of a hammy stretch. So take a shorter stance. All right, now we're going for the variation. With your blocks, walk your hands to the left side of your mat. Pivot on your feet. I'll step back so you can see me still. Pivot on your feet. And we've got our little crisscross IT bend stretch. As a reminder, you're balancing on the knife edges of your feet. Your arches are lifted up toward the sky. And you can walk your hands forward if you need to, but get into the outer left leg. Take some rich breaths. For one more inhale. Exhale, unwind. Walk to the right and all the way around, Prasarita. Wide-legged forward fold. I'm turning to face you. Wide fold, relax everything down. Let's just flow. Take a halfway lift. Exhale, fold your upper body. Good, halfway lift and hold it. Float your fingertips, engage your core, come up to star pose, reach your arms out, toes turn forward. Warrior 2, left knee bends forward. On this side, let's see if we can be less rigid in the approach to alignment. It's like we can maneuver ourselves into these postures by perfecting the body in space, but at some point we have to shift away from that and have an experience in awareness. Like, what does the posture feel like? What are the unique sensations showing up for you that make it different from another pose? Next inhale, straighten your front leg. Keep a softness in your left knee. Making our way towards triangle. Feel your hips slide back. Reach your fingertips forward. Soft knees. And then full triangle pose. Left hand down, right arm to the ceiling. All right, let's check on the feet. You can look at your back foot. If your big toe is all white,
then you know you need to move some weight into the outer edge. Distribute your weight equally, big toe mound, pinky toe mounds, soft knees here. And now let's go for length. So slide your left hip crease back. Reach your entire rib cage forward. So it's kind of like there's a little string at the top of your head. Someone's gently pulling to elongate and extend your spine. And then as you get longer, you open your heart just a little bit more towards the sky for a breath. Okay, as you inhale, use your side bodies to reverse warrior. Left knee bends. This pose is nice. Left knee draws forward, left fingertips reach back. You get lots of opening into the side body. Take a deep breath in. Exhale, low lunge, lift your back heel, hands to the ground. Okay, from here, back knee taps the ground. We'll move into our quads. Let's do a twist first, might be. Right hand stays down, left arm high. So stay in the twist for a few breaths. I want you to really feel it, how it's kind of tight in the torso, but move from your right side, rotate it over, and create some space for yourself. Even though rotation brings some compression to the organs and the thoracic cavity, can you still find these big breaths? Okay, last inhale. Exhale, now come down. Back knee taps the floor. Shift your hips back. You can reach for the foot from here to take your quad stretch and then come forward again. Or if you need to widen the left foot out and then reach back this way to capture the foot, okay, you can do that. Just different ways. And so the thickness of the quad, try to feel that density and meet that with the lightness of your breath. Softly release. Down dog kick is your inhale. Bend your knee in half. Open up your hips and pause. So you open your hips to the side of your space like you would in preparation for Wild Thing. Drop your right heel sideways so you're on the knife edge of your right foot. You can stay there and work on getting your core online, squeezing the side bodies together, hugging your navel and your rib cage back. If you can keep that comfortably, take your left hand, hold it to your heart, and just strengthen. For one more inhale. Okay, exhale, downward facing dog. You guys are awesome. Take a deep breath in and a slow breath out. We're going to keep moving, okay? And it's going to get a little challenging, but that's good, okay? We'll get a little bit more present that way. Lift your right leg high. Exhale, low lunge, step your foot forward. Grab your blocks if you have them. Pyramid pose. This is exactly how we started the sequence on the first side. We're moving right into Revolved Trikonasana Triangle pose. So if you have a block, you can keep it underneath your left hand. Move your left hand to the inside of your right foot. I like it slightly forward, okay? And then reach your right arm up to the ceiling. All right, I'm gonna come closer so we can talk alignment. To me, this is one of the hardest poses, okay? Because there's such an intense kind of squaring action that goes on in the hips. The pelvis and its position makes it a little bit tricky to twist here, okay? So it really calls on the mobility of the thoracic spine, the middle spine, okay? Don't worry so much about sliding this right hip back. Just let it be, okay? Instead, use your side bodies to lengthen forward like a halfway lift, and then from the left side of your body, you twist, okay? So it's a little bit different. We're just letting the hips be free. From the underside of your body, rotate. Keep rooted through both of your feet, so you're extending down through each leg. It's a lot of power. And now the hardest thing to do in this posture is to breathe. 3 rounds of breath here. And then it gets more intense. Take one more breath. As you exhale, bend your right knee a little bit. Tap your left knee like a Shiva squat. Reach your right hand down for your left foot. Okay, straighten your right leg. Square your body off to the floor. And we're going to make our transition into reverse dancers, but first, I want you to push your right foot down and feel your right butt squeeze in. Engage your core, take your hands to your heart, left hand to heart, and start to rise slower than you want to, all the way to standing. Okay, once we get to standing, left arm up. You could stay here and just feel into the intensity. If you want more, kick into your hand, heart forward, left arm back, and we breathe. The challenge is to let these fiery sensations and this kind of challenge to bring you more present. Nice fluid breaths. Engage your core. From your core, one-legged mountain pose. Left knee comes up to your chest. All right, from your one-legged mountain, left knee stays in. Option 1, right hand to your outer foot, or outer thigh rather, vertical twist. Option 2, reach for the outside of your foot, kick your leg forward, and stay. So we were in this shape on the floor at the beginning of class. It's okay if the knee is bent, a lot. Okay, do your best to stand taller and straighter through your right leg. Remember, we're twisting through the side bodies. Lengthen your spine, left chest draws back. And it's challenging, but it's okay because we're totally present and we have to be to make this work. You got one more breath. Okay, as you exhale, bend your knee really gently. Take the foot to your inner thigh. Vrikshasana tree pose, hands to your hearts. Ground here. I know it's a lot for the right leg, huh? I know. Keep breathing. So your left knee is open right now. I'm going to actually turn a little bit so you can see this transition I'm about to make. So your left knee is open. Nothing really changes about your hips. Maybe it will help you if I go this way. Nothing really changes about your hips. Just float the left leg off and step back to warrior 1. Arms to the ceiling. Same thing, open hips, okay? Pause in warrior 1. Drive your right knee forward. We're not here for long, just a way to ground ourselves. Take one more inhale, maybe palms together, look high. Exhale, hands to the ground. Down dog kick. Inhale the right leg up. Here it goes. Bend your knee in half. Open your hips. Drop your left heel to the floor. Engage your belly. From that strength, wild thing. Tap your right toes to the floor. Left leg stays straight. Rotate your heart to the ceiling. Reach back through your right fingertips. Breathe. Be exactly here in your body in each breath. Listen, take a breath in. As you exhale, sit down. Bend your right knee. Come all the way down to the floor. Who cares if you're off of your mat? Left leg comes in a bit. Okay, your right knee is bent. I want you to take a little seated twist here where you're grabbing for the front of your shin bone. Rotate over to the right. So I'm going to turn my body just to stay facing you. So it's a gentle seated twist. Push to your right fingertips. Get as tall as you can through your spine. Now left hand, option to reach for the outer foot. Okay, option to lift your foot. You can keep the knee bent, just keep your spine tall, and then maybe kick. You can stay here. Okay, the legs push out through the heels. You're sitting up really, really tall, and then you're still rotating, so you can find that extra turn of the right shoulder back. You can stay here, slowly lower this shape down to your forearm. Keep the twist, keep the extension through the leg, and push your right forearm down into the ground. Turn your upper body toward the floor. Take one more breath. If you're on your forearm, push through your palm to lift back up. Good, gently release the foot. Arms up to the ceiling. Just for a second, exhale, forward fold. No rounding, keep length in your spine. Just neutralizing here for one moment. All right, I would imagine you guys are all facing the back of your mat. So really graceful transition here. Turn over, downward facing dog. Okay, hips to the ceiling. We'll start with our second side. From down dog, inhale left leg up. Exhale, low lunge. Blocks are handy here. Pyramid pose, shorten your stance a lot. Back heel is down on the floor.
Your right heel's turned towards the top right corner of your mat. Okay, I'll come closer again. We're moving into our Trikonasana Revolved here. Right hand comes to the inside of your left foot and slightly forward. Left hand, sometimes we cue to have it sit on the sacrum. Don't worry so much about what your hips are doing. Okay, let's just let the hips be free and instead twist the spine. Left arm up to the ceiling. So the hips move as the hips want to move with the spine. The spine calls the shots here. Lengthen through your whole upper body. And then from the right side of your body, rotate, right chest up. Hardest thing to do here is breathe. It's tight in the side lungs. So you strengthen the breath here. One more, inhale. As you exhale, bring a little bend into your left knee. Shiva squat, keep the twist. So the right knee just taps your left calf. Go for the bind, left hand, right foot. Turn your body to the floor, straighten your left leg, lift your right knee up. Lots of strength through the left foot here. We need this left leg as we move forward. Right hand to your heart. Slowly stand. Okay, reverse dancers. Get your bearings standing up straight. Strong left foot, push the floor away from you, and then move into your kick if you desire. So it can be a little kick, it can be big, it's really whatever you're feeling, but open into the front of your body. We link all of these postures together. They're not easy, okay? This is a lot of effort, a lot of focus. Can you keep the breath central? Okay, engage your belly, and from that core, one-legged mountain pose, knee to chest. Pause, stay. Okay, you have options here. Vertical twist, you can keep your hand on your outer leg and just stay. It's a good place to be. If you want more, you're reaching for your outer foot, and then you're kicking, maybe. Leg can stay bent, or you can kick it straight, just like we did at the start of class. It's really tempting to get slouchy in the left leg. Try to push your left foot into the floor. Lengthen up. Feel the twist around your rib cage. Pull your right side back. And you're almost through it, so really feel what your body's doing now. Bend your right knee. Tree pose, Vrikshasana. Land your foot on your inner thigh, hands to heart. It's a beautiful place to just take some grounding breaths. From here, just hover your right leg up. Step back, warrior one. Arms to the ceiling. Okay, in your warrior one, palms stretch forward. You can look up between them if it feels good. Take an inhale to get big. Exhale, low lunge. Down dog kick on the in-breath. Send your left leg in the sky. Bend your knee in half. Open your hips to the side of the room. And we go for it with intention. With engagement, drop your right heel to the floor. Call on the belly here. And then we start to drop the left leg all the way to the floor. So it's really just following the body weight back. Now rotate your heart up to the ceiling. Left arm reaches behind you. Your right leg stays straight. Give it breath. Now, very gently, bend your right elbow. Just come all the way down to your seat. Okay, move your right leg forward. Your left knee stays bent. I'm turning just to stay open to you. Left knee stays bent. I'm just holding the shin bone for now. Gentle seated twist. Turn your left chest back. It's important, especially for where we're going. Keep the liftedness through your spine. Okay, push into the floor. Stay tall through your crown. Option to stay or pick up the outer edge of your left foot. Lift your foot up. You can kick it. Sometimes we round. Okay, that's coming from some tight hammies. Okay, so in that case, bend your knees. Sit up straighter. You can stay here or very gently lower down to your forearm. And when we lower down, guys, slide your left hip crease forward. You'll get a little deeper into that IT band. From your forearm, come back up to your hand. Gently set your foot down. Inhale, arms go up. Exhale, seated forward fold. Maybe peace fingers, wrap big toes. You can grab for your pinky mounds. So I like to grab for the part of my foot underneath the pinky toe and pull it toward me. Then I like to plug my thumbs in underneath the big toes and push those forward. So it's kind of like you're widening the soles of your feet. Do your best to keep the length in your spine. So instead of collapsing into a rounded shape here, keep the low back long, the heart striving forward toward your feet. And take one more breath. Hands to the floor, walk your spine back up. It doesn't really matter if you're forward or backward on your mat, okay? But find your mat, grab your blocks. If you don't have blocks, I'll show you a variation in a second, okay? Your first block comes behind your heart, right underneath your heart, the wide way. You're gonna come onto that block. Your second block will go underneath your head, supported fish. Legs stay straight for this one. Arms down by your sides. Okay, so we feel the lift right underneath the heart space. Back of the head is supported. Okay, it's really beautiful opening for the spine. And then if you don't have your blocks, you still want some extra heart opening, you can take a full-on fish where your forearms are down. Okay, so this is kind of like your forearms are your blocks. Your fingertips are slightly underneath your seat. Activate your legs, and then you'll drop your head toward the floor. And then if you are in your fish pose, push through your feet, keep pushing down through your forearms. Your heart continues to be the apex of the pose. And then you'll stay. If that gets exhausting, you lower onto your back, and we meet you there in a moment. So wherever you've landed in this heart opener, notice what's changed in your body and in your experience since the start of class. Notice your relationship to your breath. We're not judging that relationship. If it feels clear, if it feels maybe a little neglected, we're just observing. If you're in that fish pose on your forearms, you're probably getting a little fatigued, so feel free to slowly lower down onto your back, one vertebra at a time. You can just rest on your back body once you get there. If you're on the blocks, think about, just for the last few breaths here, softening your spine around the shape of your prop. Let the tops of your shoulders slide toward the ground, so they just melt a little bit. Take one more breath. Exhale. And if you're on your blocks, just roll off to your side body, remove your blocks, set them aside, come onto your back. And then everybody pull your knees into your chest. And give yourself a little bit of a massage, rock left and right. And come back to center, knees towards your belly. And give yourself one last squeeze. And stretch out into space for your final resting pose, Shavasana. Take up lots of space. Let your feet open wide. Flip your palms to face the sky. Let go of any control on the breath and just let your breath be totally natural. Whether that's deep or shallow, let it be. For a few minutes, see if you can just be exactly where you are, all of your attention absorbed into this moment, accepting this moment exactly as it is for its pleasant and less pleasant qualities. What's it like to just experience this moment? Experiencing it clearly, and letting go of all resistance. Know that you're always welcome to stay for longer. Take as much rest as you need. If it's time for you to move forward, I just want you to think about doing so really slowly, not rushing. Start to awaken your body with movement and with breath. And bend your knees up. Roll over. Find one of your sides just for a few breaths. Use your hands to press out into a seat, anything that feels comfortable for you. As you find your seat, just close your eyes once again. Sit up tall. Guide your hands together in front of your heart, and for a moment, just notice all the places in your body where you feel at peace. Notice the parts of you that feel completely present. And take a deep breath in. A full breath out. Thumbs to the center of your forehead. We'll bow forward together to seal the practice in love and in gratitude. Namaste.